From Nelson Soapery. Today, I know you won't be expecting me, but I thought I'm just going to do a little video about soap because I've had so many people asking me lately all about, how I started and was my soap good from the start? And the answer is absolutely no. I mean, it was terrible at the start, but I thought, look, everyone can just watch this later because I know if you're in the US, the UK, you're probably having a sleep because it is in late afternoon in Melbourne, Australia at the moment. But we're going to go through a couple things today. I'm going to talk about the soap. I'll show you because I actually did keep my original soap that I really started with, which is a bit funny, and look, I'll tell you a few things about that as we go along. So I've got like several of them, and also we'll talk about the packaging, whether that helps the recipe. Does the recipe help learning resources, sort of what kind of thing is going to help you in the whole idea of soap. So I'm going to tell you a few tricks and tips, and I'll also tell you a couple things I did along the way to sort of get wholesale happening, retail happening, getting people to my site and buying, because that is one of the hardest things. No matter how good you are, it's just getting people to find you is the hardest thing. So now let's start from the beginning. I'm going to start to show you some of my original soaps that I made. And can I tell you, everyone, I was so proud. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but I was actually really proud of the first soap I ever made. I mean, it was garbage. But at the time I thought, look, it's turned into soap. It's hard, and I was just really excited. Anyway, I watched royalty soaps at the start, and then of course there's so many others that I have watched along the way to sort of learn. And royalty soaps gave like a base recipe, which was really good to learn with. And me being me, I thought, oh, look, I can just add extra things in, make it all jazzy. But anyway, that wasn't to be. So let me show you the first disaster I ever made. So this was my very first soap. And I thought it was so good. I was really proud of making this. This, by the way, is not mica because at the start I did not have mica. I used food dye. Do not use food dye. You're not meant to do that. But at the start, I thought, look, it looks pretty good. And if I'm honest, it really smells terrible because I didn't put much fragrance in because I didn't know how to do that. And I put heaps of castor oil, and castor oil smells after a certain time. So anyway, that's basically how I started. Terrible. And then once I made this, I thought, oh yeah. And as you go along, you kind of just learn so much. And I'm really glad that I started doing YouTube to sort of document a little bit of my journey. And you'll actually notice at the start of my very first videos, look, I sound nervous. I definitely aren't as confident. I don't know as much as I do now because you learn. But that's what I wanted to kind of show you. So anyway, that was my very first disaster soap. But don't be discouraged, anyone, if you make one and it's not amazing. So then once I started doing that, and I made lots of other ones, then I started doing ones, and these were wrapped in plastic. So this was like my plastic one. And I thought, look, I'm going to put roses on it. Now, look how terrible that rose looks. Can you see? They go brown because, you're sort of spraying it with isopropyl or whatever. Anyway, and it went terrible. Not great. So that was my next one, but I sold a lot of that. So please don't think I didn't. Then I decided I was going to wrap soaps. So then, of course, I went to this is standard paper. This is just, copying paper that you print anything on at home. So obviously it was duller. It didn't look as good. And then I decided to go and pay Vistaprint. So basically, this is my end result now and my professional labels printed out. But you can see basically if we start from my original journey, so let's get this soap back to now. So basically that's basically my journey. And the reason I thought I would do this video is I get lots of people saying to me that they wish they were that good. Oh, hello from Greece. Hi, my love. Welcome. And, look, the thing is, it's not that I'm any better than anybody else. The only difference is, honestly, I've been doing it for a long time. So once you do it for a long time, you just get better at anything you do. So that's the thing that I do want to say to people. Please don't feel discouraged. You will get better, I promise you. But anyway, and that's why I wanted to show you that. So now, once you've started your journey, and let's just pretend, you want to get to the next level. You've made something, you've practiced, because definitely practice and test before you sell. Once you get to that stage, you've sold, not sold it, you've made it, you've done your testing, you've done your professional labels, because you must have the ingredients list, directions, and so on the back. But please look out for your country. Every country is different. So do make sure that you have all of that on it. Once you get to that, then what you can do is start to sell it. So my first thing I did, honestly, is go to a market, go to your local farmers market or craft market and see what people think. And my very first market, I only sold $80, which was not very good. But I thought it was all right, because I was happy with somebody buying anything, because I just wanted to sell something. So then I did lots of markets for a while. And of course, then I did have my website, but then I decided to go to Shopify. So then I went to a much better website. And there's a lot more things in Shopify than a lot of other sites. The analytics and everything are very good. And you've got marketing, send out your emails through that, and so on. So when we're talking about success making soap, number one, like I said, it's learning. Number two, it's getting your packaging good, because I know this sounds silly, because nobody is actually using the package. I mean, they're going to throw that out, but that's what attracts them at the start. So your packaging, your labeling, your logo all needs to be really good. But don't worry if it's not at the start. You'll get better. You'll get better at packaging. So, once you even make 1 or 2 sales, even to family, then you think, oh, maybe I can do this. So that's what I really wanted to say, that success starts at a very small time at the start. And, I would actually watch people like Soy and Shay, Alan Ruth, there's so many soapers, of course, Royalty Soaps, Anne-Marie, there's so many. But anyway, I would watch, Soap and Clay, there's so many that I would watch, and I would think, I'm never going to be like that. Nobody's going to watch me on YouTube. And honestly, that is the truth. I really thought nobody would ever watch me. And I just thought, I'm just a little mum from the suburbs. Who cares what I have to say or I have to make? But slowly, I was shocked that I started selling little by little. And can I tell you, a year ago, soap was one of my lower performers. But now with the packaging, it's my best performer. So, that sometimes that packaging can really turn a corner for your products. So I really suggest at the start, like I said, once you test it, it's good, then you start to sell. From Idaho, is it? Idaho. I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's the US. Because I don't have my glasses on. So I should have had them on. But anyway, I don't. But welcome, lovely. Welcome to our little chat. I know this is not one that I have planned, but I was just making some soap, finishing off a video, and I thought, look, maybe I'll just talk about this, because like I said, a few people do ask me, how do you get to that level? And look, I'm not at the level I want to be at either. Definitely not. But you just learn. Oh, it is. Thank you, lovely. Thank you, Marilyn. Yeah. Look, I sort of look at things and go, oh, no, I don't have glasses. I'm 50 years old. I need to wear them all the time. But yeah, so like I said, just start small, and then, just keep changing, and you will evolve. I promise you will evolve. Oh, you love everything I do on YouTube. Thank you. That's so nice. And, look, I can tell you, Marilyn, that like I said, I had the YouTube channel, and then I started because I never thought anyone would watch. So it's funny, really. Oh, you're a soaper in Arizona, USA. You do very well at the local markets. Yeah, online is very hard, everybody. I can tell you, I promise you, online is very, very difficult. And this is my opinion in Australia. I really feel, because all of our shops are back open, I've definitely noticed and been talking to a lot of people, and they're telling me they're taking a lot less money now at a market than they were before COVID. Now, during COVID, when the markets were open, I was taking up to $1,000 a market. And that's very big money for Australia, very big money. But now, my last few have only been 500, 400, 380. What was the last one? 420, I think. Before that, it was nearly 900. I think I did 900 in November. But, like they're the few that I've done since coming back. So it hasn't been great. And I really do think that is because people are going back to the shop. So don't be discouraged if this is happening at your market. It's just the way it is. And unfortunately, we can't do much about it. So yeah, I don't really know how we're going to sort of get past that, but I'll be looking at that, and hopefully I'll do a video to give some tips and tricks if things work for me along the way, to sort of let you all know. But yeah, like I said, so that's sort of the first thing. Now, I did do some writing. Now, if I can tell you, so like I said, evolving means fixing your packaging and, making it better all the time. That's what any business does. They see what's wrong. And if you do a package, so say for instance, you make a package and you think it's not selling, look at it and change. I mean, there's so many that many of you watch, such as Jerica. I know a lot of you probably watch Jerica. And if you see from the start, because I watched her too, and I watched her from the start. Now, if you can actually see from her where she started, and now, she's gone from wrapping them in plastic now to boxing the soaps and so on. So there's a lot of things that people go, okay, let's just try this. This is, maybe this can work better. So that's my suggestion, is always watch other soapers, how they evolve and change. And you'll see so many of them change. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing a soap that looks organic. That looks not perfect. You don't have to have it perfect. Some of the biggest companies have made a company around organic looking products and not perfect. So that's something you can do as well. Also, gather some resources as you go along. That's definitely a help. Yeah, you like, yes, Tonya, you like shrink wrapping your soaps. And that's the thing. Some people love that, Tonya, and some people prefer paper. I've seen some people box them. So there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever you like and what's selling with your company. And can I tell you, when we were in the midst of COVID, definitely I think the wrapping was a big seller. People wanted to see that for sure. Yeah, you would be more liking the organic look. And you know what? Over time, I've just, this is the thing. I see lots of soapers and that, they cut the ends of the bar to make it perfect. I don't do that. When I cut my soap, unless, there's not enough to make a soap at the end, I don't cut the soap off at the ends. So I just cut all the bars together, and whatever slithers left at the end that's not going to make a soap, then I sell that off at the market for $5 a bag. And they're the ends. So don't think you have to throw them out. You can sell them. And sometimes I give them away, but I started selling them at markets, and you'll be amazed. People go through the $5 box. I have a box of $5 at a bags, and people love it. They just, and they're just scraps that I'm going to obviously give away for free or something. So, you can do that as well at a market, and people love it. They'll come back and look for you for those $5 bargains. So yeah, but like I said, resources, please look for resources, and that's YouTube. There's so many of us on YouTube that do this as a full-time job. Don't just watch. The one thing that I have to say is, please don't just take advice from Facebook groups as well, because sometimes there is some great advice on them, but don't, watch everything on there. Tallow is your main ingredient, Tonya. And that's the thing, Tonya, that I've said this before. Some people love it. My clients do not like any animal byproducts. So because when I started, I did certified palm, and I did add extra different things in. And then over time, I just realized that my clients, my target market, didn't want that. So then I made them vegan, although I do have one soap that's not vegan. But generally, that is my market. So it depends on the market. Like if you lived in an area that was a farming area, I would guarantee that they would want probably, tallows and, maybe animal fats and milks in their products, but my market doesn't want that. So that's what's very interesting. Oh, you also do vegan soaps, yeah. And that's the thing. I wanted to go down a certain market and really hone in on that target market. And from the start, that's what I learned, that my target market was too wide. I needed to hone into exactly where my market was, which has worked for me. And can I tell you, I went from selling maybe 25 soaps a year to selling thousands and thousands of soaps a year. So now I do sell in the thousands of soap a year. And often when I do a wholesale, it will be 50 to 80 soaps easily for a wholesale client to buy. So that's not unusual for me to sell, say, $1,500 of soap wholesale. Or say 1,000 to 1,500 is pretty. 1,000 would be average, I would say. But that's what I mean. When I started, I couldn't even sell one thing wholesale. But you just sort of evolve, and sometimes I think the business follows you more than you follow it. You know, it just kind of works that way. Some things I didn't plan, they just kind of happen this way. But it's very interesting to see how companies have definitely evolved. Now, also, don't be scared to fail. It's okay to fail a soap. There's plenty of soaps that I've been, it hasn't worked the way I wanted it to, or it didn't smell the way I wanted, or it got thick too fast. Don't worry about that, everybody. Please don't worry about that. There's lots of things that you can do. And today I've just finished making a soap, and I will bring a video out in the next few days of that soap. And it is a mandarin coconut cream soap. So it's like, highly with the beautiful coconut cream in it. It's just going to be nice and thick and gorgeous. So that one, I will bring out that recipe as well. So that will be on my Patreon in a few days, that recipe. But you'll see me making that soap, and I'll talk about all the ingredients and why I've used them in that particular recipe. So now when you go to wholesale, I do wholesale now, but at the start, I'm going to be honest, I was not good enough to do wholesale. So don't think you just start straight away and you can sell wholesale. I would definitely make sure that you're happy with your recipe, your bar, you've tested it before wholesale, because you don't want to sell wholesale and then the wholesale people complain and say they want a refund. So make sure it's really good before you do wholesale. Please don't sell wholesale until you're confident, because you definitely don't want that hassle. That's a big headache. And when I started doing wholesale, I thought, look, I'll just put the products I have, and then, my idea was, okay, if someone says orders 100 bath bombs, I'll go and make 100 bath bombs. But then I started getting orders of $1,000 of bath bombs, and I thought, oh no. And so then I didn't make it, and I didn't have time. So I said, no, scrap that idea. So now I literally only put wholesale what I have. So if I only have 3 bars of that, that's all I'm putting on my wholesale list. And I sell on Fair and Trade Square. And I am changing my website soon so that I will be selling to, will be able to ship bars out to the US, New Zealand, Australia. So they're the 3 places. Unfortunately, I cannot ship to the UK because I do not have assessments that the UK need. So anyone else making soap, please don't ship to the UK unless you do have assessments, because it is very strict in the UK. So please make sure that you understand that. And Australia, New Zealand, and the US are very similar in the ways that we actually do things. I think in Australia we'd be a tiny bit stricter than the US from what I've read to date. Yeah, you don't do wholesale, Tonya. Yeah, look, there is profit in it, Tonya, but you have to know your prices really, really well. Like, honestly, you do need to know those prices super well. But for me, because I've made a brand now and, I'm recognized a little bit more, then of course I can charge more money for my soap. So my soaps are, they're $10.85. So I sell them at $5 something wholesale, and they cost me a couple dollars to make. Depends on what the recipe is. Sometimes it can take $3 to make, but The ones that I'm putting on wholesale, I make sure I know my money. But the thing is, I'm making it in a slab. So if you're doing wholesale, you really want to make slabs of soap. You don't want to just be cutting a tiny bit at a time. But I get what you're saying, Tonya. There is not a lot of money in it. You're 100% right. But you just need to know your price, and the whole idea is you're selling more in bulk. So rather than, say somebody comes to my website and they're going to buy one of these, I might sell bulk and sell 80. So I'm still making very good money, and I would not make the amount of money if I just sold retail. That's the truth. I would not. So, and I don't have to pay for a storefront. These other people that order from me do. So there's a lot of things to consider for wholesale, but it depends. And in Australia, we don't get orders like in America because our population is so much smaller. It's much, much harder to sell retail. So a lot of us have to sell wholesale to make a profit or business out of what we're doing. So anyway, hopefully that does help. And you know what? If you can't get into Fair or anything like that, make a catalogue up on Vistaprint or one of those companies or a print house. Take it into local shops, gift shops, and just say, hey, I'm a local person in your area. Here's my catalogue. I'd love to talk to you further, because you'll be amazed how people will do that. And I get people all the time emailing me or messaging me through my store and saying, hey, do you sell wholesale? I'd like to buy direct from you. And then that's good because you don't have the fees of, Fair or Trade Square or all of the other companies, because obviously they take a percentage of what you sell. So you do have to know what your cogs are, and that means, your cost of goods. That means, from the packaging, the soap, the oils, the lye, everything, even the sticky tape on the back, the label. I mean, that's all money. So you need to add that in, even if it was 1 cent for a piece of sticky tape. Add that into your cost of goods so that, you can start to grow a little more as well. Oh, hello, Rose. How are you, my love? Welcome. Welcome to our unexpected chat all about soap, and I'm just telling you a little bit about the things that have worked for me. And, look, everyone, I went from earning less than $2,000 a year, like probably less than that even, to now earning, I wouldn't say a decent living, but I'm earning money. So whether it's from YouTube or selling soap or wholesale, I'm still, selling a good amount of money. So, and really we all want to get to at least 5 figures, in selling our products. And like most of I do talk about this. Some months I'll sell $2,000, or, I'll make $2,000. Some months I'll make $7,000. It just depends on exactly how I'm going down that avenue. Oh, you love my tutorial. Thank you, my love. There is another one coming out in a coconut cream soap very, very soon. That will definitely come out. So make sure your website is good, everyone. Now, can I talk about this? When I started, I didn't have, my site is professionally done. But at the start, I did it all myself. And you can do it yourself. Don't think you can't. You can. But just make sure that you're constantly tweaking things and looking at things, because I don't know whether you realize, but things like Google, they look at, if your website sits there and no one touches it for 4 months, Google looks at it that, okay, nothing's happening that much in your site. So if you're not doing that much on your site, that's basically how analytics and that works. So they look at it that if you're altering, adding products, removing products, that your business is constantly rolling. So, and that's something that is really important. So tweak it, even changing a word, changing a sentence, a picture, colors, it doesn't matter, but you want to keep changing your things. And I'm on my site probably once a fortnight to change things or send emails out and so on, but, probably more often than that. So I hope this has just been, like I said, a little bit of an insight on, basically how I started from nothing in my kitchen to now, like I said, working in my studio. And of course I have bigger goals. In 2023, I will be saving towards opening a shop, but who knows when that's going to happen, that's for sure. So my website, yeah, of course, Rose. So you can go onto my website, which is nelsonsoapery.com. It's not AU, it's just .com. So you can go on there and have a look. So once again, like I said, it's obviously www.nelsonsoapery.com. Do I think bath salts sell well? No, Tonya. For me, I don't sell them because they don't sell well. And can I tell you, the last 3-4 months, I've noticed bath bombs are taking a massive dip for me. I don't sell many bath bombs at all. When I say I don't sell many, I don't sell them retail. Wholesale, I sell a lot of bath bombs. I think I only have 8 bath bombs left. Pretty much everything else is sold out across my company. But in 2023, I have been talking to somebody about getting professional boxes made. So I'm definitely getting those boxes made. So that's definitely where I'll be going, like I said, in 2023. And I have a few exciting things that I'm looking at doing in 2023, like I said, including, hopefully, my fingers are crossed, hopefully I can afford to open a shop by the end of 2023. And of course, like I said, I do have my conference, which is the Soaping Guild in Australia, and you can buy tickets online. I have a few American people that are actually coming, so they've bought tickets to go online, and then of course you'll be able to see everything. It's filmed for 2 days, and you'll be able to watch live, and you'll be able to be involved in chatting in the chats and so on. In that, my husband is an engineer, so he will actually be doing all the computer. So his name's Chris, so you'll be able to talk to him on that. So that's basically what I'm looking at doing, like I said, in 2023. But, look, you just got to start from the start, everyone. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to give it a go. If it doesn't work, you've given it a go. But otherwise, you're going to sit in the couch and hope. And that's what I did for a long time. I thought, gee, I'm getting too old. Nobody's going to watch me. But you know what? If you don't try, you just don't know. So, like I said, I went from selling less than a dozen soap a year to selling thousands a year. So you just don't know. And I do not pay for advertising, for anyone that wants to know. I do not pay absolutely 1 cent on advertising. I have tried it. It's not for me. I think if you're going to spend thousands of dollars, it would 100% work. But I don't have that kind of money to invest. So I definitely can't invest that. So yeah, so that's the tricky thing, isn't it? Anyway, I hope this chat has helped today. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. And of course, I'm going to see all of you lovelies on my next video. Hopefully tomorrow I will have a new one coming out as well. Oh, you advertise on Facebook. Yeah, I've tried that, Tonya. Didn't work for me. Didn't get one sale out of it at all. And I spent thousands on Facebook. So and that's the thing. I think in Australia, it's very different to other countries because we don't have the population here. Our population is, I think it's like 10% of the US. It's very small, 10 or 20%. Anyway, it's very small, our population. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, soap, I didn't know you could make your own soap. So people still don't even know that in Australia. They just say, oh, well, why would I buy that? I can go to the shop. And generally people that buy it, they know a lot about soap, and they just want more that's an olive oil and that's as natural as you can get it. So I think that's generally where I'm selling to. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. I won't keep talking. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends.